All right, gang. So, what we are going to cover in this video is how to set up a custom search for somebody in your database that you just had a great conversation with, and through your qualifying and your questioning and your conversation, you've identified what the criteria is that is specific to their search. So we want to make sure that we are setting up that search that is tailored to their geographics, the areas of town they want to be in, bedrooms and baths, potentially square footage if they want a pool or a gated community, just these different details to make sure that as they are getting those daily emails from you through Commissions Inc., that the search criteria, the results rather that they're seeing are exactly what it is that they're interested in. You don't want to, have a lead in your system that you had a great conversation with, and they told you everything about what they want, and they're a motivated buyer, and the search results that they're getting daily in their email are not anywhere close to what they're looking for. So it's important that you make sure that you set up a custom search so that every single day when they get that email from you, they're excited to look at it because it's got the types of properties that could potentially be a good fit for them and their family. Okay. So that's what specifically we're going to talk about here and just kind of walk you through that. So what you would want to do when you have the lead detail open, and I've got my good old test dummy here, you want to go to one of two things. You can either click right in here in the Save Search, right, which will open up the search options and selections, or you can simply click on that Save Search and it'll take you to the same place. Okay, so either way, it'll bring you here. If this is a lead that's brand new, you've never talked to them before, maybe you just got it, the lead just came in, you called them, had a great conversation. Remember that this search is going to be the default search based on the very first property that they clicked on when they came to our website. Remember, they click on a property and then it prompts them to register so that they can see the rest of the details. So this search is based on that first property. So if that's the scenario, you want to make sure right out of the gate to just hit clear all. So you're starting from scratch. It gets rid of anything that was previously set up and you're starting from scratch because now you're going to build their search based on the conversation you had with them and customize this criteria, again, so that it's tailored for them and their family and their needs, okay? On a side note, if, let's say, this is a lead that's been in your database for a while, or it's a lead that you got out of the pool and now you're going to continue the relationship with the lead, and the criteria may just need to be tweaked a little bit, not necessarily reset and start from new. Just want to be aware of that, right? You can go in and get rid of things and then change them rather than clearing it all out. So I would just make you aware of that. Let's assume, though, for the sake of this training here, that it's a brand new lead. You open this up, you clear all, you're back to a fresh start here, okay? So you've got, first thing that I would say is that all of your geographical locations that you're searching for, and in your conversation with your lead, you're talking about, what area of town are you thinking, and are you open to these additional areas, whatever it may be. When you set their search up, you want to make sure that you're using zip codes as the area search. You don't want to use subdivisions or city names. you want to make sure that you're using zip codes. The primary reason for that is that, this search tool is pulling right directly from the MLS. It's a direct feed right to the MLS system. And not all properties may say City of Orlando or City of Maitland or, they might not say, City of Longwood or just Longwood or whatever the case is as far as location, but they all will have a zip code. Every single property on the MLS has a zip code. So you want to make sure that you search by zip. The way that you do that is in the location. You just start by the different areas that they want to be in. Let's say that this particular client wants to be in 32789, right, which is Winter Park. Now, what I caution you on here is make sure that you're not selecting communities Winter Park. You're selecting the postal code Winter Park. All right. So if you look at the search results up here right now, we're at 2000. When we select that, it's going to immediately filter that down to 216. Okay. So let's say we also want to look at 32792, which is also Winter Park. So we're going to add that one. Let's say we want to look at Maitland, 32751, because maybe that's a surrounding zip code that the client's also interested in. So we're going to add that one. See how our account's going up here? Let's say we also want to consider 32803. So we select that one. So let's say now that, geographically that's what we've got. We feel good about that based on our conversation. On a side note here, depending on your client's or your lead's situation, if the lead is, from a timeline standpoint, way out in the future, they're 10 months, 12 months, 15 months down the road from, really getting serious about their home shopping and their home search, I would encourage that when you set up their areas that you give them a large geographical area that the results are pulling from, so that they've got an abundant search result. Okay, they're still a long ways out. As the time gets closer, as their seriousness level increases, you can always come in and streamline this, tailor it down, and get this number down to something much more specific. But you want to make sure that, especially if they're further away, that they've got an abundance of properties to see, okay? So that would be the areas, let's say, that they're interested in. Now, we know that they're interested in at least a 3-bedroom, a minimum of a 3-bedroom, but maybe a 4th bedroom or an office or a den or something like that would be important to them. So you want to make sure that when you do the bedrooms, that you make it to be 3. See how it says minimum 3 bedrooms? So it'll show you minimum 3 in homes that have more than 3 bedrooms. So it's minimum 3. So it's 3 or more. Okay. Same thing with the bathrooms here, right? So your client wants a 2-bathroom, so you want to make sure that it's minimum 2-bath, right? So we went from 400 and something results down to 367 now. If you know your client's price range, based on your conversation with them, they're going to give you an idea, right? They're going to, they may tell you, oh, well, around 300, right? Or, 350 or between 350 and 400, whatever the case is. You can use, you want to make sure that your client's not seeing homes that, are $4 million if their budget's $300,000, right? Again, you want to make sure that it's tailored. But again, if your lead that you have is, again, 8, 10, 12, 15 months down the road, I would encourage that you kind of buffer their price range a little bit, padded on either end, so that the search results are more plentiful, right? So let's say, for instance, that our lead here, let's say their price point is $450,000, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my minimum price probably $250, okay? And if they told me their max was $400, I'm probably going to set that up to probably $5 or $5.25. So if they told me $450, I'd probably go to $525. The reason that I do that is because just because somebody's asking $525 for a home doesn't always mean that they're going to get $525 for a home. Maybe that's overpriced, and maybe more realistically, that given property that was priced at $525 might sell somewhere, in a $400 range, and maybe my client's willing to increase their price from the $450 to get that home. So, if somebody tells you $450 or $250 or whatever it is on your initial search that you're setting up for them, buffer that, pad it some so that, again, they're seeing more results, and sometimes people are willing to do more than what they kind of lead on initially. Okay, so our search results have filtered substantially there, right? So we've got area, we've got beds, baths, we've got a price range built in, type of property. Let's say my client wants single family home only. Right? You can click on multiple of these if you wanted, but let's just say it's single family home only. So if we click on that, now our search results are at 318. If you wanted to add multiple, you just simply get back into this field and then you would select the next ones, right? So now it has condo and single family home. If you want to eliminate one, you just click on that and it eliminates it, okay? Tax amount, that's not really relevant. I don't know anybody that searches by that. You could search if your client, you know that they want acreage. You could use this field, 1 to 2 acres, half to a whole acre. So you could use that. I would also caution too that the more specific that you make this, the smaller the search result number will get. Okay, and you have to realize that if you have a lead, again, that's many, many months in the future, you want for the search results to be healthy. You want them to see a lot of results, okay? So you don't want to be so specific where they're only seeing, a dozen properties, because they'll find other websites to go to find other homes, okay? Now, if your lead is hot, ready right now, they're highly motivated, they're ready to get out and start shopping, you feel good about it, maybe they've talked to a lender already, then it's okay to get in and get a lot more specific, a lot more detailed, and this search result should be a smaller number because obviously it's, they're ready, so you should be showing them the homes that match that specific criteria first. Okay, you could use that. You could use minimum acreage. Let's say, you only wanted to see something that was a 1/4 acre, nothing smaller than a 0.25. You could use that. Now we're at a 34 search results, right? 34 homes. Water frontage, if you wanted to do that, these are all additional ways to kind of filter your search down. If you want a garage spaces, let's say we want one or more garage space, so that's 29. Let's say we wanted a minimum year built, you could do that. Stories, 1 story only. Fireplace, there's a lot of different ways to get in and filter this down through all of these options, okay? These tags down here are kind of features, if you will, right? So, these would be things that you would see, and you got to remember this is pulling right directly from the MLS system. So some of this is, if you select it, it's going to be searching the MLS for the fields on the MLS to be able to find that as a search result, okay? It's important to remember, though, that if the listing agent that inputted the information on a given property on the MLS didn't do a really good job of filling out as much information as possible, and you have tags selected here, it might not find those properties because the agent didn't have those fields filled out. Hope that makes sense. But let's say, for instance, you wanted to have a home, you wanted a home that you only wanted to find homes that had pools, right? So you could select pool, check that box. If we go back up, I bet the results are very, very low. 8. So between the 2 Winter Park zips, Maitland and 32803, minimum 3 bedroom, minimum 2 bath, between 250,000 and 525,000, single family home on a minimum quarter acre with at least 1 garage space in a pool. There's only 8 properties that are currently available on the market right now. Okay. So again, we went from 400 and something search results to begin with just the locations, down to 8 based on that criteria. So, but that's how you would create a custom search. So you would go in and you could select as many of these as you wanted to or not want to, and customize your search based on that. All right. So once all that is where you want it, you just simply hit create new. Nope, I take that back. You go back over here. I'm sorry about that. You hit save. So once now that's saved. That's permanent. That's there. That search will be set up forever and always until you come back into that and you change it. So that lead will get an email every day with search results that match this criteria. So up here, you can change the frequency in which the lead receives those emails. It's best to just leave it at default and it be daily, which is, again, it's already set to that. But if your lead tells you specifically, hey, listen, if you're just going to send me emails every single day, I'm going to delete them. Hey, send them to me, just during the week, or send them to me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or on specific days. It doesn't happen that often where you get somebody that tells you that. But if it happens, you can go in and you can customize and send it, on whatever frequency you want. Okay. But I recommend just keeping it as a default. Now, where I hit create new, what that would do, and I don't encourage you that you do this, but that would allow you to set up a second search, right? So you could create a whole nother search based on whatever criteria. As an example, let's say you have a client that's looking for a personal residence, and then maybe they're looking for a vacant piece of land as an investment opportunity, or maybe they're gonna put horses on it, or they want to whatever it is, right? They're looking for something different. Or let's say they've got they're looking for their personal residence, but they're also looking for an investment property, maybe a duplex or a rental property. So this would give you an opportunity to have 2 different searches that are set up, and that lead getting 2 different emails from you with 2 different criteria, right? Does that make sense? Once that was all set up and you saved it, you could toggle back and forth between the searches here on your end, and then the lead would be able to do that when they log back into the website. There's a way for them to toggle between the 2 searches. So that would be that. So that's how you set up a custom search. Again, if you said, hey, you know what, I screwed all that up, let me redo it, you could just hit reset all. It takes you back to 0. You can start it all over again. So that's that. So the other thing that I would say that you can do is you can do a map search. So if you go into the search, the save results here, it pulls up a map, right? And maybe you have a client that is pretty particular about location, right? They don't, they want to be within a certain area and they're very particular about that. And, you only want to search that. You don't want to be as broad as maybe a zip code. You want to be much more kind of isolated. You can, through that search result tab, come in here. You can zoom in or out if you need to. This is Google Map based, right? And you can draw a custom search area. So if you hit that, now it allows you have to find where you want and click, hold your button down, drag wherever it is your search area needs to be, unclick it, and it's only going to find homes in that area. Okay? So that's another way to be able to, be much more specific. As you can see, our search results went to 2. Okay? If you don't like that, if you want to change it, obviously you just hit clear. That doesn't change anything from the search that you had previously set up, but then you can make it bigger or whatever you wanted to do. You can toggle back and forth between a satellite view or the map view, whatever works best for you. But if you did make that specific area, you want to save it, okay? Or maybe you have, this criteria all set up, but then you want to do a new search. You come in here and you want to make it custom to a specific area. Then you can have a second search set up with the map, okay? And then that way you have 2 searches that are set up. One's map-based, one's zip code-based. Once that's established there, you come back over here and then you do the criteria accordingly. Bedrooms, bath, price point, type of property. If you want to do, minimum square footage, that's over here. Again, whatever the custom criteria is, you would select the appropriate one, save it, and then you'll have a second search set up. So all you would do there is hit create, hit save. That now is a second search. So if you look up here, now we have 2 different searches. We have a map search, and then we have the original one that we set up. Okay, so a couple key takeaways is when it's a brand new lead that comes in, you just talk to them. You want to make sure that you clear all originally right out of the gate, start fresh with a brand new search. And if that lead is, many, many months in the future, make sure that geographically you've got them in a broad area so they're seeing a lot of results, and that you've padded their price range again so that the search results are healthy and plentiful. If they are, a hot, ready right now, hey, I'm ready to get out and start looking at homes right away, pre-approved, you want to geographically narrow that down, more specific to their needs and wants. And price range, you don't want to buff it as heavily, so that's more, again, tailored to their situation. And make sure that their search results are not 1 or 2. It depends on the situation, but and then so that they're seeing results. That's the whole point. Anyway, wanted to make sure to do that. And obviously, if you have any questions, if something's not you're not clear about it, whatever, obviously give me call me, talk to me, connect with me, or really anybody on the team for that matter. Everybody's happy to help. So hope you got a lot out of that. Thanks so much.